Welcome to the NEO. Very nice building, as Mark was saying. This was refurbished about 3 years ago, so it's kind of great for these kind of events. What else is to say? This is the Wi-Fi network, GovDelivery, password GovDelivery 14. I was getting confused with GovCamp in January 14 when I broke the password, so that's why it doesn't say 13, so that's my stupidity, I do apologise. There's no testing of the fire alarms or anything like that, because they did that yesterday. It's very loud. If there is a fire alarm, there's it's quite clearly signed there, and that goes, I think, straight out to the street. You've probably already found the toilets. There's some just straight down there and halfway up the stairs. It is a secure building. You can't go very far without using passes. If you need to get out, my colleague Richard, who's been helping out, will help you out through the front door, and one of the guys will need to let you back in. Is there anything else that comes to mind?
Sorry, can you put that slide back down?
Yeah, sure. Obviously can't tell between up and down. Up. There you go. Very stupid this morning. I've put some nice posters up saying where the NEO is on social media, because we are talking about digital communications. And obviously we do actually use GovDelivery ourselves, so if you look on the website there's a nice little red envelope, and anybody wants to sign up for alerts, feel free. Is that okay to take that one to the next page down? I think that covers anything else. So any sort of particular questions before I sort of rush off and talk excitedly about things? No? Okay. Right. There we are the National Audit Office. You can definitely mention the NEO, we really love that. Okay. So we're talking today about government communications, and I thought without killing myself and creating a totally new presentation, I'll just cover something that I'm doing at the moment. So I'm actually trying to create a new digital communication strategy for the NEO. And one of the things I'm covering is trying to deal with some of the stuff that's come out of the capability review for digital comms in government, and build on the work that we've done in the past and try and make the NEO a bit more connected. And I call myself head of digital channels. A few years ago, it probably would have been a bit of a pointless title because we only had a website. So now we actually do have quite a few digital channels, and these are some of the things I'm trying to address at the moment. And what I've done, the thing I've been writing at the moment, which is still a draft, I've tried to come up with points that are really easy for people in the organisation to understand, so that if they want to know what's the NEO doing online and why is it doing these things digitally, there's kind of just some phrases that they can repeat, or I can say to them, oh, but we agreed we were doing it this way, and the leadership team have agreed we're doing it this way. Which is a thing for a couple of weeks' time to talk to the leadership team and get them to agree everything. So I've got these headings, which, let's go up the right way. So I've talked about culture, because this is seems to be one of the big things that's come out of some of the reviews across government, but as much as having the tools, it's kind of the culture of the organisation, how that deals with working digitally. And then I've come up with collaboration. You notice they're all C's. It's very clever of me to do this. So collaboration, we're trying to interact with people online in some positive way, and then content, because it's all about content. Some of my colleagues would probably say, actually we're talking about knowledge, because in effect that's what it is. It's the NEO's knowledge, but I've used content because that's what people generally say online, and I wouldn't have 3 C's. So culture. So I'm trying to say, digital leadership obviously should come from the top. Maybe it's not as obvious to some people. But the big thing is that devolving it to people who can actually, who are doing it as part of a day job, and that people should accept that, anybody should be able to work online on behalf of the organisation. Staff should be, capable and competent. I noticed my second phrase had actually been kindly quoted in the Digital Comms Review, which is really nice, Cabinet Office. And the thing we're trying to work on at the moment is hopefully try and get everybody to be able to contribute some way online on behalf of the organisation. We've got something quite nice coming up in a couple of days' time, which you'll probably see online when it goes live. We've got a couple of people, we're not quite as good as DSA and health and people like that. We do have a couple of people who tweet online for the NEO. Hopefully we'll get quite a few more. I'm not Twitter obsessed, by the way. There are other fruit apart from Twitter. Code of conduct, this is a bit like the civil service code. We've got the NEO code of conduct. This is how people should work generally. It's not online specific. People should be doing the same things whether it's offline or online. Metrics, and obviously the big thing at the moment, capability review was talking about the AMEC standards of, that social media and digital can be measured as much as any other kind of communication. I'm struggling with that at the moment, trying to actually apply it in practice to the project we've been working on. And we're not obsessed with tools, kind of saying its outcomes and impacts and stuff like that. What else have we got? Collaboration. I've made up all these phrases. Hopefully they sound all right. I'm happy to have some feedback after if they don't. I'm trying to say we engage online with our stakeholders, collaboratively share knowledge and insights, which is where we want to get to over time, because at the moment, have to be fair to the NEO. The NEO is an audit body, it's writing audit reports, sending stuff out to people saying these are the findings. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't be able to engage with people and get feedback. And one of the things I did last week, which is I'm really pleased with, we put a feedback form on all the web pages, pretty well all of them. So under every report there's a feedback box, and all the flat pages there's a feedback box. And I had some really nice comments already, which kind of stuff that you get used to yourself, but now you're sort of seeing what the users think of the way we laid out the page, or actually what was written in our reports. I suspect this is going to be quite powerful. We want to be a networked organisation, which is kind of the reason for this sort of event. The more people we're in contact with, the better. Trying to go out to people. You've actually come to us on this occasion, but normally we'd want to go out to people. Digital engagement is just a standard model of listening, getting feedback, etc. And then hopefully we'll be transparent what we do online. An element of managing expectations, so we say, well, this is how we use the channels, this is the kind of stuff that's going to go out on the channel. So people aren't surprised and expect the NEO to engage in a way that it will never do. The NEO is not political, it just reports on the implementation of policy. Sometimes people forget that and they're quite keen to sort of try and draw the NEO into political arguments. The NEO doesn't do that, it's not its job, that's for other people to do. And content, which is kind of important to me. We definitely don't do this at the moment, but it's kind of a nice aspiration. Sort of create the content that users want, that they find useful, and the feedback forms part of this process of finding more what people want. Trying to make it accessible. Got a colleague working on making the site into responsive design. We've got a little pilot of that, so try and do more of that kind of stuff. Ask for feedback. Not be scared of getting feedback, which I suspect is always a natural reaction, but kind of go, well, no, we do actually want it. And then some bits I've added on here about trying to do a bit more around curation, which we do a little bit of, and this is probably a bit harder for me to explain internally what it really means. But the NEO does a lot of work with Parliament, so there's things around Public Accounts Committee hearings and Treasury minutes that we can link with NEO reports and sort of show that they are related. And also, other public sector bodies who might be producing reports or contents on topics that the NEO has been working on. So hopefully over time, it's probably a bit more of a long-term thing. We'll try and do more of that online in some way. There's tools like Tagboard, which is quite neat for pulling stuff together. With certain disclaimers, because obviously the NEO doesn't endorse kind of political stuff. And that was it. You don't have to ask any questions. That was just kind of like a way of finishing, because I couldn't think of anything else to put at the end.